Hey nerds, we're at the penultimate episode of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, and this one is a lot. The Trial of Seven is finally here, and I'm not gonna lie, this might be the most emotionally devastating episode of any Game of Thrones series since the Red Wedding. If you thought the last episode's cliffhanger was intense, you weren't prepared for what happens next. Let's get right into it, starting now. Welcome back to the Nerd Social. I am Colin. So, as always, if you want to skip ahead of the intro and jump to my analysis, rating, or breakdown, check out the chapter links below. Also, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And also, we have a website, thenerdsocial.org, where we offer more reviews and analysis from our contributors. So, In the Name of the Mother is the title of this episode and is one of the most ambitious episodes of television this franchise has ever attempted. It splits its runtime between two stories, the Trial of Seven in the present, and an extended flashback showing us young Dunk's life in Flea Bottom before he became a squire. The structure is going to be divisive. Some will find the flashback frustrating when they want to see the fight. Others will appreciate it for how it deepens our understanding of who Dunk is. I'll break down both perspectives, but first, let's start with our spoiler-free logline. The Trial of Seven begins. 7 knights on each side, lances of war, battle axes, morning stars. The guilty will fall and the innocent will prevail according to the judgment of the gods. But in Westeros, the gods have a cruel sense of humor, and honor, as always, comes with a body count. The title In the Name of the Mother comes from the knighting vow. In the name of the mother, I charge you to defend the young and innocent. It's what Sir Lionel said when he knighted Raymond in the last episode, but it takes on much more specific meaning in the extended flashback when those exact words save young Dunk's life. The mother, both the goddess and the absent maternal figure in Dunk's life, haunts this entire episode. Before we get into spoilers, here are my general impressions. This episode makes a bold structural choice, and after 4 minutes of trial setup, we cut to an extended flashback that takes up nearly half the runtime. If you're on the edge of your seat waiting to see the fight, this will feel like torture. But if you can accept that the show's intent is to put you inside Dunk's head, to make you understand why he gets up when everyone else would stay down, is devastatingly effective. The trial itself, when we finally return to it, is brutal. Not flashy, not choreographed action movie fighting. It's mud and blood and chaos, filmed largely from Dunk's POV inside his helmet. You'll feel every blow. And the ending, look, if you've read the novella, you know what's coming. If you haven't, I envy you the experience of watching it fresh. This is the kind of gut punch early Game of Thrones legendary. Peter Claflin gives the performance of the season. Bamber Todd as young Dunk is a revelation, and Bertie Carvel, well, we'll talk about him in the spoilers section. So in terms of rating, I would give this episode a 10 out of 10, which is a theater rental. Much like the previous episode, it gives a very great setup to a awesome cliffhanger at the end. This is really well written within the shorter time span of the story. And this is, in some instances, better than House of the Dragon. And I thought House of the Dragon was pretty good at some points, although there were some inconsistencies throughout that season. But this is going back into the Game of Thrones lore where every season except the last one, every episode was really well done. So hopefully that momentum follows into the final episode and also into a potential season 2 as well. All right, if you haven't seen this episode yet, this is your cue to head out. Beyond this point, we're getting to full spoilers, and trust me, you want to experience this unspoiled. Go watch In the Name of the Mother, grab some tissues, and come back when you're ready. So we start off with this episode opens exactly where episode 4 ended on the field of Ashford Meadow, moments before the Trial of the Seven begins. Prince Baylor gives a pep talk to Dunk's team. It's blunt, it's terrifying, and it causes both Raymond and Dunk to vomit. Do not panic, remain in formation, keep your mounts as long as you can. These men mean to see you dead. They will fight you savagely. And then Baylor reveals the strategy. He'll handle the King's Guard himself since their oath forbids them from harming a prince of the blood. Sir Robin asks if that's honorable. Baylor's response was, the gods will let us know. His final advice was to be vigilant and don't die. So the teams is made up of Sir Duncan, Prince Baylor Targaryen, Sir Lionel the Laughing Storm Baratheon, Sir Robin Riesling, Sir Humphrey Harding, Sir Humphrey Bury, Sir Raymond Fossaway, who is newly knighted. And then on Aryan's side, his name is Bright Flame, Prince Maekar Targaryen, Prince Darren Targaryen, Sir Stefan Fossaway, and 3 of the Night Guard's knights. Dunk and Egg share one last moment. Dunk gruff as ever, but clearly terrified. You best be here when I get back. Rob me, and I'll hunt you down with dogs. And Egg, smiling through the tears, just give a woof. So the first charge, 3 minutes in, the action begins. So there's 2 sides charge across the fog-shrouded field. The chaos is immediate and disorienting. Lances shatter, horses fall, men scream. The show commits to Dunk's perspective, putting us inside his helmet. We hear his labored breathing, see limited visibility, feeling his terror. Aaron spurs past, drives a lance through Dunk's middle. The second hit comes from a morning star. Dunk goes down and everything then goes black. Then we get transported to the aftermath of the first Blackfire Rebellion, the Redgrass field, hours after the battle that saw Daemon Blackfire killed. King's Landing is visible in the distance. A young teenage Dunk scavenges the battlefield with his best friend, his scrappy girl named Rafe. And they're stealing from corpses, coins, armor, and anything they can sell. We see Dunk attempt to smother a dining man for his valuables, the opposite of chivalric behavior. This is the key flashback beats. So there's the dream of escape where Rafe wants to save enough money to buy passage to the free cities of Essos. Dunk is hesitant. What if his mother comes back to find him? What's she going to do? Rafe asks. Lift the effing horse off his legs? And then we also see in Flea Bottom the squalor of King's Landing, worst slum, rats filled, death that is everywhere. Duncan and Rafe survive by stealing, including from members of the City Watch. And she tells Dunk a story about 2 criminals, Pudding and Cedric. A lesson: no one forgets that you hurt someone, they hurt you back. Payment for past wrongs always comes with compound interest. And then there was a confrontation between a City Watch member named Alistair, who catches them. They've stolen from him before. He doesn't hesitate and slits her throat. Dunk then attacks, bites the man's ear off, gets stabbed in the leg, and he's about to die when, in the name of the mother, leave that boy be. Sir Arlen of Penetree, drunk as a skunk, stumbles out of the nearby tavern. Despite his condition, he kills Alistair and is accomplished with brutal efficiency. Then he simply walks away. Rafe dies in Dunk's arms, his only friend and his only family. So wounded, alone, and nothing left to lose, Dunk limps after Sir Arlen as he leaves Flea Bottom. He follows at a distance for days, camping nearby, watching the night train, admiring his sword and shield, just as Egg would do years later when pursuing Dunk to Ashford. Finally, collapsed and fevered, Dunk hears Sir Arlen's voice commanding him, "Get up." And then we snap back to the present. Dunk lies in the mud, bleeding, possibly dead. Aryan stands over him, clutching his wounded groin. He's dead is over. Egg screams for Dunk to get up. The crowd is silent. And then, echoing across time, Dunk hears Sir Arlen's voice again. "Get up." Dunk's eyes open. The crowd begins to chant up. And what follows is one of the most brutal hand-to-hand fights in Game of Thrones history. Dunk and Arya hack at each other in the mud. No grace, no choreography, just 2 wounded men trying to kill each other. Arya stabs Dunk repeatedly. Dunk keeps getting up. Maekar, seeing his son in danger, loses control. He screams, "My boy," and fights through everyone to reach Aryan, swinging his mace wildly. Finally, Dunk lands a decisive blow to Aryan's thigh, incapacitating him. But instead of killing him, Dunk drags Aryan to the royal stand and forces him to withdraw his accusation. Yield! And Aryan yields, the trial is over, and Dunk is innocent. Dunk is dragged off the field by Steely, Pate, and Raymond. He asks the question we're all dreading: did anyone die? Beesbury and Harding in the first charge. The 2 Humphreys gone in the opening seconds. 2 men who fought for a hedge knight they barely knew. Steely, Pate wants to pour boiling oil on Dunk's wounds. Prince Baylor arrives just in time to correct him. Why? Not oil. Oil will kill him. Dunk, barely conscious, struggles to his knees before Baylor. Your Grace, I am your man. Please, your man. Baylor places his hand on Dunk's shoulder. I need good men, Sir Duncan, the realm. And then the cliffhanger at the very end where Baylor asks Raymond to remove his helmet. His visor is cracked. His fingers feel like wood. As they work on the helmet, Baylor explains the helm. It's crushed down the back, smashed into the gorget. My brother's mace mostly strong. They remove the helmet, and half of Baylor's skull basically comes with it. There's a moment of horrible silence as Baylor turns into a slow circle, confused. We see his brain through the hole in his head, then he falls. Dunk catches him, cradling the dying prince, the heir to the Iron Throne, the one good Targaryen, the man who believed in him. Your Grace, get up, sir. Get up, sir. No! I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Get up. I'm sorry. Dunk sobs as Baylor dies in his arms. Egg draws near as the screen cuts to black. So, the phrase get up echoes throughout the episode like a prayer. Sir Arlen says it to young Dunk, commanding him to rise from fever and follow. Egg screams it as Dunk lies dying in the mud. The crowd chants it. And finally, devastatingly, Dunk begs Baylor to get up, and for the first time, the words fail. This is what the episode is really about, not the spectacle of combat, but the question of what makes someone keep rising when everything says they should stay down. For Dunk, it's not strength or skill. It's the voice of someone who once believed in him, telling him he's worth saving. Yes, the flashback is disorienting. Yes, it interrupts the action at the worst possible moment, but that's the point. This episode wants you to understand that Dunk isn't just fighting Arion. He's just fighting every moment of his life that told him he was worthless. Every time he rises from the mud, he's proving that the boy from Free Bottom deserved to survive. The parallel structure is deliberate. Rafe dies in young Dunk's arm. Baylor dies in adult Dunk's arms. Both times, Dunk says, I'm sorry. Both times, he survives when someone better doesn't. Remember Darren's dragon dream from episode 4? So in terms of that, a great beast with wings so large they could cover the metal. It had fallen on top of Dunk, but Dunk was alive and the dragon was dead. The dragon wasn't Arion, it was Baylor, the good Targaryen, the one who chose to fight for a hedge knight. His death changes the course of Westerosi history. Maekar will eventually become king instead, with all the tragedy that follows. And then Maekar killing his brother, not intentionally, he was trying to reach Arion swinging wildly, and Baylor just got in the way. But he killed him nonetheless. This is the kind of tragic irony of Game of Thrones is built on. The man who loved his son too much destroyed the brother who was trying to save them all from Arion's cruelty. And In the Name of the Mother is the best episode of the Night of Seven Kingdoms so far, and arguably the best episode of any Game of Thrones series since the show was at its peak. It's brutal, tragic, and emotionally devastating in exactly the way this franchise should be. The flashback will divide audiences. Some will see it as padding, others will recognize it as essential character work. I fall into the second camp. Without understanding who Dunk was, a starving orphan in Flea Bottom, watching his only friend die in his arms, following a drunk night because he had nothing else. We can't fully understand who he is. The man who gets up, the man who survives, the man who carries the guilt of everyone who believed in him. Prince Baylor Black Breakspear is dead, the heir to the Iron Throne killed by his own brother's mace, while defending a hedge knight's honor. We shall never know his like again. So there's one episode left, one episode to see how Dunk and Egg move forward after this. I've already seen it, so I know what happens, because honor in Westeros always comes with a body count. And that's our breakdown of this episode, In the Name of the Mother. Tell us what you think of this episode by commenting down below. Like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. And we will see you next video. All right. Take care.